holiday season is a time of the year when I'm always looking for winter-themed games to play. And as a whole, I really enjoy seasonal games. Now, of course, there's October and Halloween, but that one's easy, right? Any horror game pretty much will fit into that month and be appropriate. Silent Hill, Resident Evil, Castlevania. October and Halloween is easy peasy. But finding good Christmas and holiday themed games is a little bit more difficult. And whenever I do happen to stumble across one, I try to cover it here on my channel because I know there's probably a bunch of you as well that enjoy these types of games at this time of the year. Enter Mission in Snowdriftland, which is more of a winter-themed game, but it does tie in with the holidays because its overworld map is structured like a traditional advent calendar. Now, this game is a 2D platformer, which I've found quite a few 2D platformers lately that were indie games and that were holiday-themed. It's just the way it goes, guys. I don't know. I'm sorry. I wish I had more variety, but that's how it goes. So in this game, you're going to play as a little snowman as you platform your way through various stages in different biomes. And the story is told mostly in the opening moments of the game through a cutscene, which is pretty charming and humorous at the same time. And our little friend here is in the right place at the right time in order to set out on his journey. Or, depending on how you look at it, might be the wrong place at the wrong time. Now, your main goal in each of the stages is simply to go from the beginning to the end, which is denoted by a treasure chest. Now, all of the levels are fairly linear. There is some room for exploration as you seek out the snowflakes, which are the game's form of collectible. These are 100% optional, but the reward at the end is a bonus level, which is incredibly difficult. So although this game is pretty accessible as a whole to pretty much any skill level of player, understand that this bonus level, if you like a challenge, is totally worth the effort to unlock. And it took me 42 minutes to play through it. That's both how long it is and how hard it is. So I'm not going to show it, but if you like a challenge, it's a hardy one for sure. Now, as you can see on the overworld map, like I said, this is structured like an advent calendar. So if you enjoy that concept, and I know there's a lot of you that do, you can absolutely treat this like one and just play a level per day. Now, the mini bosses and the bosses aren't numbered. It's mostly just the regular levels, so you could pretty much play those at any time once you unlock them. But I thought this was a really neat concept, and it's one that's not forced upon you. It's not like the game says, okay, I'm an advent calendar, you can only play one level per day. No, you could totally play this any time of the year. You could play it like any other platformer. If you want to just burn right through the whole game, which is pretty much what I did. I played through the entirety of the game and fully completed it in just one day. And understand that I fully completed this. All the snowflakes, every level, and the bonus level. So that really should be a testament to just how much I enjoyed this game. I spent most of the day when I played this just playing through it. I took a few breaks, but I kept coming back to it because I was having that much fun with it. Now, it controls really simple in that you just move and you jump. It has some of that momentum-based movement, and you're also going to deal with a lot of slipperiness, and that's not due to the controls. That's because a lot of the levels are ice-based. So if you're one of those people that does not like the ice levels in 2D platformers, you're probably not gonna love that you slide on a lot of surfaces in this, but that's the intent, right? That's the style of the game. I didn't mind it. It added a little bit of challenge to it, but once I got accustomed to it, it was like second nature. I just adapted to the fact that I would slide across certain surfaces and the way I time my jumps. The levels are really, really well designed. And I think a lot of that stems from the idea that the game is easy to pick up and play, so it allows an immense amount of creativity in its level designs to shine. And that's where the gameplay really shines, is that the levels all feel pretty different. There's not a ton of different enemy types, but there is plenty of variety as you work your way through the game. It kept it feeling fun and interesting. Stage hazards, enemy types, the mini bosses all play differently. The final boss is pretty fun. All of those elements come together really nicely into a game that's easy to pick up and play. There are no checkpoints in the levels other than the bonus level, so if you happen to make a mistake and fall in a pit or run out of hearts or something like that, you will start all the way back from the beginning and have to recollect any snowflakes or anything like that. I didn't feel like this was overly frustrating, but there was a few times where I got really far into a level and then made a mistake on a jump or something like that, fell into a pit, and then had to do it all over. But for the most part, this is somewhere in the moderate range of difficulty. I feel like looking at the gameplay, it probably doesn't do justice to just how fun the game is. It just controls so well, and the levels are designed so differently that it felt just fun. I don't know how to describe it really, it's just more fun than it looks. And this is the type of platformer that is such an easy game to recommend, because I feel like it really nails all the elements of what I would want in a 2D platformer. I had a really hard time trying to decide on something that I didn't enjoy in this. And truthfully, my only real nitpick is as you work your way through the levels on the overworld map, it can take a while if you want to backtrack to your base, because you do have to move through them one by one on the overworld. So that's a little bit slow, but there's really not a whole lot of reason to go back to the base. The base only really houses your artifacts you acquire at the end of levels, which is something that I haven't mentioned yet. And the reason why is because I don't really want to spoil these, because these are essentially like your gifts that you get at the end of each level. So if you played this like an advent calendar, that would be your present that you're opening. And most of these are nods to classic gaming. And for me, as an older gamer, I absolutely loved each and every one of these. And most of them, probably like 95% of them, I knew what they were a reference to. But that's the joy of it, is figuring it out for the ones that I didn't know. Mission in Driftland was a really satisfying platformer to play through, and it's one I can easily recommend if you're looking for a holiday themed game or just an enjoyable 2D platformer that genuinely you can play at any time. Although the overworld is an advent calendar, this game is by no means as holiday heavy as some of the other games I've played on my channel. Like, you know, Santa's not really here or anything like that. So this is just a fun winter ice themed game. So if you're in the market for a platformer that caters to that seasonal tendencies but also is enjoyable on its own, this one is a game I highly recommend. It's currently available on Nintendo Switch and PC on Steam, which it's been out on PC for a while now. So you can pick it up on your platform of choice, or just wishlist it if you want to pick it up at a later date. This is one you definitely should not miss. And hopefully, if this was a game you hadn't heard about before, I convinced you to check it out, because I think it's worth your time. If you have any questions on anything in regards to this game, maybe there's something I missed, let me know in the comments. But until next time, have a good one.